And I know that during that sort of rough time, there were comments made about, I don't know, maybe not evil, that's maybe not the right word, but how uncaring Perth South was. And I mean, I get legends are what they are. I don't mean that as judgment, but I would like the people of St. Mary's to understand that we are a caring and compassionate community too. And so St. Mary's has tried to address some of these social issues because they have an outreach worker, and we helped to kickstart that program, and it is working quite well for people in St. Mary's who are struggling with various social issues. But I know that people in Perth South, they also need help that way too, and they are getting it through other places through the United Way. And now I've gone off my script, so let me just double check here. I would like to see a stronger voice for Perth South residents in our United Way discussions. These same social issues also affect people in rural areas, and if the municipality is seen to be behind the work of the United Way, it might encourage our residents to reach out for help. So in conclusion, the United Way and its partner agencies play a role in the health and wellness of Perth South residents. As a sponsorship of the St. Mary's in the Area Coldest Night campaign, it would help, I hope, to raise Perth South's profile on social issues, and we hope as a result to encourage our residents to reach out for help as needed. So thank you for listening to our appeal.
Any questions from council? Can I ask, go ahead.
Just one question on the information you sent out here. It says that you work with Blue Sea
Yes,
Foundation.
yes.
Is that the entire United Way or just the coldest night of the year?
The Coldest Night of the Year campaign is run by Blue Sea. And I believe it's across like North America.
And from what I can read from Blue Sea, they take 22% of all the giftings they keep. So only 78% is going to the charities.
Yes.
Okay.
I would note though that that 22% is a better way to go for United Way, because then they don't have to hire staff to manage the program, and they have a national cause behind them. I think Coldest Night of the Year is national.
It's international. It's in the United States as well.
Okay.
And there's a fair amount of marketing to it as well. They provide all the posters, they provide the hats that people get as their walking incentive. They provide all of those things for the 22%. So yes.
Okay. Any other questions? Go ahead, Councilor Whitman.
Yeah, first off, thank you for all the work being a good way, because it's an incredible organization. I'm just curious, why request through the Coldest Night instead of a direct donation to United Way that would lose that 22%?
That's a fair question. To be honest, I am involved with Coldest Night.
Okay.
And every year I put up the logos for all the groups, companies, organizations that sponsor us. And I just keep thinking that, yeah, but I would like to see Perth South.
I asked because at the hospital we have a program where it goes directly to United Way, so I wasn't sure if they bring forward workplace opportunities like that too.
Yes, they do through workplaces, and I'm sure they would be happy to talk to you about having that here. My understanding is there are fewer and fewer organizations or companies who are going that route. A lot more are choosing to go through an organization that allows people to direct their money to whatever they want. So it used to be the United Way. If you were in a workplace, the money went to the United Way. And I believe that is no longer the case in a lot of workplaces.
Okay, seeing no other discussion, I'm gonna make a recommendation here. Tonight we'll have another second presentation. And then when we get to budget time, we'll decide on the wellness fund. So, thank you for your presentation. I do support the United Way, and I do think they do good work in our community. So, recommendation that council receives the presentation from Gwen Bradley and Megan Winchester regarding the Coldest Night of the Year sponsorship opportunity, and provides direction regarding the sponsorship request. Moved by Councillor Corby, second by Councillor Martin.
Sorry. I just wondered on the language there, provides direction required. Are we providing direction? is the direction discussed at budget?
Yeah, so,
Okay.
as a staff member, putting the recommendation forward, I wasn't sure what council wishes, so that's my wording, we can.
Yeah,
I
I
think
wondered
it
if
would
we
be-
wanted to change that to
Yeah,
say
I
to be discussed at budget
Yeah.
or.
Sure, and provides direction regarding the sponsorship request. Around budget time,
To be reviewed at budget, how's
to
that?
be reviewed at budget. Are you okay with that, Councillor Corview? Seconded by Councillor Martin, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. All right, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
And we'll have, Amber, do you want to come to the table for the St. Mary's Area Mobility Bus? Oh, thank you.
Everybody. So we do have a PowerPoint up on the screen and, I will be following along a little bit on my notes here as I have practiced. I know once I get in front of the crew, I, don't wanna stray too far. That's when you start to say things like Oprah doodly and, you know, weird things are like, that's never came out of my mouth before, but nerves seem to get ahead of me. So, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you so much for having me. On behalf of myself and our board chairman, Robert Howe, we are happy to be here this evening. So my name is Amber Miners. I am the manager of St. Mary's and Area Mobility Service, a small but deeply committed not-for-profit that provides accessible transportation, door-to-door service for residents who otherwise have no way to get to their activities that matter. Every ride we provide represents independence, dignity, and connection. Next slide, please. So many of you, they probably have seen our vehicles around town, around the county, or know someone who's used our services. For some, this might be your first introduction to who we are, and I'm thrilled to speak to you today about the impact we're making in our community. We manage 4 agency vehicles and also that are driven by trained, hired staff, and also a volunteer coordinated program where community members use their vehicles to transport ambulatory clients to and from their appointments. Though our schedule is based on demand, we operate 5 days a week and more when necessary, which is common. So typically we have anywhere from 1 to 4 vehicles on the road, Monday through Friday. Evenings and weekends are based on demand and driver availability. So our services cover the full range of daily needs: medical appointments, grocery and pharmacy trips, which can also be errands and other essential services, community events and social outings. We also have a long-standing partnership with the VLN Adult Day Program, which provides transportation to both the Stratford and St. Mary's site. Our mission is simple: to keep people connected to medical care, to community life, and to the everyday tasks most of us take for granted. Next slide, please. So just a moment to take a look at our numbers. My enthusiasm for this service is something I wear really proudly. What we do is unique. It's unlike anything else. And we have the privilege of supporting people in their journeys and providing them care when they need it. So last year, we provided 13,971 trips to over 250 unique clients. 78 of those were Perth South clients that I was able to, I came across obviously that we have some training to do even in our statistics, and there are some areas that they are labeled as St. Mary's and Perth South. So come next year, I'm going to be a lot more on top of those. However, I would say between 78 to 100 of those are Perth South clients. With that, we show our volunteer trips of 2,223 and their hours contributed. So in total, our team drove enough kilometers to circle the globe, St. Mary's to Tokyo and back, once around the planet, totaling 77,934 kilometers. To highlight the Perth South contributions, I can tell you our monthly breakdown on average is 30 to 35 rides per month. And we would count a ride, so if somebody's coming to the day program, it would be 2 rides per day, 1 there, 1 home. So just ensuring a ride is each time on the vehicle. So what's important is not just the numbers themselves, but what they represent. People staying healthy, staying connected, and staying in their homes longer. These numbers reflect the volume of need and the essential role we play. Next slide, please. So one initiative I'm especially happy to highlight is our partnership with the local and the community in their community nourish market. By offering rides to the market, we're helping residents access fresh, healthy food, something that can be challenging without reliable transportation. It's more than just for nutrition. I want to emphasize that our service is not simply transportation, it is a lifeline. Many of our clients do not drive, they cannot afford private transportation. Due to mobility issues, they may not be able to access public transportation where it is available. They may live alone and rely on these rides to maintain independence. And without us, many residents would miss medical appointments, would be unable to access groceries, and would experience increased social isolation. So even though our demographics may be defined by our funders, we're committed to being as inclusive as possible. Access to transportation is essential for overall well-being. When people have reliable rides, they can keep up with preventative care, maintain good nutrition, and remain socially engaged. All of this helps reduce hospitalizations, emergency responses, and long-term care needs. So for many clients, having transportation they can rely on means more than mobility, it means dignity. It allows them to continue to make decisions, keeping commitments, and participating in the activities that shape their identity. That sense of control fosters both independence and confidence in such a powerful way. Next slide, please. So while we are proud of the work that we do, our sustainability is increasingly at risk. We face three major challenges. So you've heard me talk about how transportation supports independence and confidence, helping clients maintain daily routines and be informed in their own choices. But none of this is possible without reliable vehicles. In Ontario, community transport fleets typically keep accessible vehicles for 8 to 10 years. The ramps and lifts typically are 5 to 15, depending on maintenance and their safety and durability. So right now, our fleet includes 2 vehicles that have reached the 10-year mark, the upper end of their life expectancy. One of these vehicles has become a significant challenge. It is our vehicle that is on the road Monday through Friday. Repairs for this bus are now costing more than twice our overall budgeted amount. And during this maintenance, we face downtime that affects our ability to provide timely rides. So it's not just an operational issue, it directly impacts our clients' ability. So we do have contracts as well with our local taxi companies, which does allow us to contract certain rides when capacity is breached, or perhaps there's a last minute request that we're able to utilize that taxi contract for. So when looking at the 2024-2025 numbers, over 200 rides were given to these providers. So again, there's different variances as to why they're given. Sometimes they are weekends or late evenings. But a lot of the times there are rides that we could probably fill with an increased capacity. So on our rural roads, drivers expect the unexpected: cows, tractors, and a few extra minutes. All in all, our team handles it with pride, which I do have to say. I looked up the address. Google Maps, there's one address that says 3193 and there's one that says 3191. So I took the one that said 3193 and I ended up on the other side of Plumps. And this is not the spot where I gotta go. So I pulled over and figure it out, and I look it up again. There's another one at 3191, and I thought, well, isn't that interesting? The night that I go to present about rural transportation and the issues that we face, and here I'm driving, not in a large vehicle, but I get turned around. Now our drivers all are equipped with Google Maps and GPS systems. However, so was I, and I still got turned around. So what this does mean for St. Mary's Mobility is that our coverage is broad. So where there are times that clients do get stuck in the middle. They're too far for us, depending on guidelines, and too far for another provider in the same area. And when I speak about guidelines, that does specifically relate to some of our instances that we've had with the Adult Day program. So we are bound by our funders to have the clients on the vehicle no more than an hour. So if we have a client who lives rurally and it's 20-25 minutes one way to get to that person, then we are having to, either send a second vehicle, look for an alternate arrangement to be made. The answer isn't to not provide service to the client. So it's figuring out a way that we can make it work. But with that comes some of those concerns. So without proper support, we can keep these clients connected and make sure distance doesn't become a barrier to care or independence. Next slide, please. Okay, so what makes this service so special isn't just getting that we get people from point A to point B, it's how we care for them along the way. It's actually one of my favorite parts about the job, getting to answer the phone and book the ride still. Yes, I like some of the administrative and some of the policy work and some of that too, that's all part of it. But what really motivates me is hearing the stories. And we wouldn't be here without those stories. So one client's son shared how his life changed almost overnight as he suddenly stepped into an intense caregiving role. When his father's health unexpectedly declined, Joe received the difficult call that set everything into motion. Transportation to frequent medical appointments quickly became the biggest challenge. Balancing work, family demands, and caregiving felt impossible. Reliable rides, mobility assistance, and real-time updates meant Joe could keep his job, meet his children's and family's needs while knowing his father is safe and supported. Our transportation service gave peace of mind. Sarah lives with a chronic autoimmune condition that limits her mobility. After her husband passed away suddenly, she was left raising a young family in a rural home she could no longer manage. Without her spouse's support or a way to drive her into her medical appointments or work on bad days, she became increasingly isolated. Our service ensured she could attend twice weekly medical appointments and connect with our community supports. And being that we are connected and to our clients and wanting the best for them, we were later asked to write a letter of support outlining the challenges she faced living rurally and her dependence on accessible transportation for safety and well-being. Sarah's story is one of the many that show how crucial our service is for residents navigating difficult transitions. And lastly, we have Maria. Maria lives alone and she lost her license 2 years ago after a fall. She told us that without her service, she would miss all of her medical appointments because taxis are too expensive. And occasionally there isn't the availability of that option and her family doesn't live nearby. So she had told us that it isn't just a drive, it's help keeping her independent and in her home. This is what your support sustains, a service that keeps people cared for, connected, and confident in their daily lives. Next slide, please. So as a small nonprofit organization, we take financial transparency very seriously. Every dollar entrusted to us is carefully managed to maximize the impact on the people we serve. We have multiple revenue streams including grants, donations, client ridership fees, etc. We make sure these are tracked and reported clearly. Our financial statements are reviewed regularly, both internally and externally, and we maintain strict accountability measures through policies, audits, and board oversight. Finally, we tie our spending directly to outcomes. So every investment supports our mission by helping provide rides, reach more clients, and maintain a reliable and safe service. By maintaining this level of transparency, we ensure our supporters and funders can see exactly how their contributions make a difference in the community. Next slide, please. Thank you. So as you now know, our services play a critical role in connecting residents to essential programs and supporting their well-being. Despite our efforts, demand continues to grow and more residents need reliable transportation to access healthcare, community programs, and daily services. Your support tonight will strengthen a service that supports some of our community's most vulnerable residents. It will reduce pressure on caregivers and local health services. It will increase community participation and social connection, and it will allow the ability for people to age in place with dignity. We hope you'll partner with us in this effort to keep our community moving and thriving. Next slide, please. So our service is more than transportation. It's a wellness program on wheels. Each ride provides access to medical care, reduces isolation, and helps clients maintain routines and confidence in their daily lives. By supporting this request, the Wellness Fund enables us to sustain and grow these essential services. Every ride is a step towards improved wellness for individuals and the community. This investment is more than just a vehicle. It's an investment in accessibility, dignity, and community connection. It reduces isolation and demonstrates the municipality's commitment to an inclusive and connected community. Next slide, please. So this brings us to the end. Before I open the floor for any questions, I just wanna say thank you for having us this evening and for considering this request. Our organization may be small, but it sure is mighty, and the impact we have on people's lives is immeasurable. Together, we can keep our community moving. So thank you for considering to support our project. And let's ensure that everyone has the transportation they need to live in the community. Thank you.
Okay, the floor is open. Who would like to ask Amber any questions? Councillor Jeff Bell?
Thank you for the presentation. Question regarding your funding. I see that rider fees make up the greatest portion of your funding. How does that work? Is it higher fees? Is it a fixed rate? Can you explain how the rider fees?
Certainly, yeah, so our faring is a flat rate for traveling in town.
Mhm.
For out of town, we do a flat or based on the mileage, so it's a kilometer per fee. And now that is subsidized through medical and social is full rate, so we do subsidize all medical mileage, but yes, now in terms of the day program, those fees are set by our funders, so our Ontario Health funders set those fees, so we actually are only allowed to charge a set amount. So in town is $13 and out of town is $15. So that's both ways, so that does, that is one of our partnerships that we have a lot of pride in, but we do, especially in some of these rural areas, our operational cost is much more than the $15 that we're bringing in. But as I said, no client will want to client. So,
Right.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, I should add too, we did just recently do a fee increase this year, which it had been almost maybe almost 5 years before that was done.
Councillor Vanessa?
Just a couple questions here. In your one chart here, talking about the fleet repair costs. The bus is 2015.
Correct.
What's the year, John?
Oh, sorry.
The other ones?
So the 3500 Ram is a 2019. The 2020 Dodge Caravan and the 2500 Ram is the 2015 as well.
So I'm just thinking out loud here. I haven't talked to anybody other than Jeff here.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, he sits beside me. Would you have any use for a Ford Edge?
No, Ford.
Escape, sorry.
Absolutely, we would actually. So looking at some of the numbers that we see with our ambulatory clients, I would like an investment in a larger vehicle that seats 6 to 10. As soon as you hit over 10, you have to look at specialized licensing and ministry requirements. So if I can stay under the 10 passenger, then that would be helpful. However, part 2 of that is some of those ambulatory clients, those individuals that we don't necessarily need the full accessible vehicle. So absolutely, I would be interested in that.
Well, that's something Sam can carry on with.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That First South is receiving the vehicle back sometime in the next 3 months, I understand. And we haven't decided what to do with that yet, so that can be a discussion.
Okay.
And have with staff. One other question I have is you're looking for $25,000 to help purchase a new vehicle. Where are the other funds? I'm assuming this vehicle is $100,000 or more. Where do you expect the other funds to come from?
Yeah, so the Ford Transit that we looked at was around 140,000. That was a 2026 model. So we are working on a rigorous fundraising effort. So we've been in touch with some community groups. We're gonna do some drive-through dinners. We've had some presentations as well to the town of St. Mary's, asking for some capital investment. We've done a grant proposal as well to the Trillium Foundation and the GROW grant. So we're trying to put a few different avenues out. Obviously some sponsorships with the vehicles certainly can be renewed. There's an opportunity that we have kind of a charted amount that people could take. So anywhere from 1 to 5 years in terms of a vehicle sponsorship. So renewing all of those would certainly generate a consistent income too on the new
We
vehicle.
also reserve fund there.
Yes, thank you, Bob. We also have some reserve funding that we earmarked ourselves for a new vehicle.
Okay, and one final question, just on a totally different topic.
Mhm.
I understand through your meetings that you only hire employees who've been vaccinated.
So that was a policy that was in place up until 2022 is when the mandate was released. So in terms of a turnover of staffing, so I started in 2023. It had remained in place in terms of requesting that policy or requesting that vaccination. It is something that we're reviewing because it no longer is a mandate from our healthcare system. So it is not something that we are recommending to move forward with in our future hires. What we will continue to see though is a policy that does protect the occupational or follow in line with the occupational health and safety and employment standards.
Right, so do you pick up clients who haven't been vaccinated?
We don't ask that information.
So that doesn't make sense to me.
Well, we no longer will be asking our staff for that information, unless there is a requirement that we are asked to forward that to our employees. At this time, it is the proposal of the board that we no longer have that requirement for our hiring. And that is a policy that we are reviewing and will be hopefully finalized in our December meeting. There was our discussion at the November meeting to change that actually.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any questions on this side? Councilor Murphy?
So thank you for your presentation. It was very well done,
Thank you.
very well prepared. You mentioned you're a non-for-profit. Who oversees your board? Anybody oversee your board, or you guys act independently? How does it work?
So our board, I guess we would report to our funders, so Ontario Health West would be our kind of higher funder that we would need to report to if there's any issues with our funding, statistics, vehicles off the road. That's really our first people that we would go to. Now, otherwise, I think there would be a due diligence to go to our other funders. So which is the townships and the municipalities that we also receive that funding from.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that answers your
Yeah,
question.
no,
No, sorry.
Yeah, no.
Other than a board, so other than the governance of the board of directors, there wouldn't be any additional oversight.
Okay. No, I was just wondering, just kind of drilling down on that, your November 5th meeting. Was just drilling down on that policy.
On the vaccination policy?
Yeah.
Yeah, what else?
So I was just wondering, like, where did that came from? Why is it still there?
Oh, so that was truly, so there was some hiring that had happened in the duration of, the year that I was in and kind of navigating the role. It wasn't until we started reviewing policies and that was one that said it's no longer applicable. So as we're hiring people, then we need to reevaluate that. It is no longer a mandate, so it is not something that we need to request or have as a requirement to hire.
You seem like you wanted to say something on that.
During the lockdown, we did start the policy of, we did want to hire new drivers that were vaccinated. And that was at the recommendation of the Perth Healthcare Alliance, which we're part of. All the staff actually had got vaccinated already. Many of them were allowed as healthcare providers to get the first vaccines when they came out. So as far as our staff that was working at the time, they all went for vaccinations on their own. And then we did have the policy at the time that new employees applying would have to provide vaccination certificates. But that's lapsed because once the outbreak's over, the mandate's not there anymore.
I'm just wondering why we're still talking about it in 2025.
So it was, as I said, it was something that with new hires, when I came on, I had asked for it, it was a new policy. But that was just in the turnover of new staff. Once recognizing that that is no longer, and as we've done another hiring, then I brought it to the board for that conversation because it no longer is necessary.
Also, back about 3 or 4 years ago, when the town of St. Mary's had a cyber attack, we lost all our backup policies that were online. So ever since, we've been redoing all our policies and We've slowly worked our way up to this point. But that was actually why we've always been reviewing all these policies, is because slowly we're working back and getting them all. But yeah, we lost all our backup files.
Councilor Corbin?
Yes, I know we're losing a couple of really good drivers here. It's gonna really hurt some of, say, Ann's been there 10 years or something.
Yeah, both of them have been.
Yeah, and I know for a fact that Jim Aitchison thought of the mobility bus. He was a big advocate of it. Yeah. So.
Councilor Jeff Bell?
Sure, just one final question for me. That 140,000 for the 26 Ford Transit, that's all moved out, that's got the ramp, everything that left or whatever is needed.
Yeah, so that's, it's from a company in London, actually, Move Mobility is what they're called. So they're also a very small, family-run business, fantastic to work with. So we've gone down, looked at the vehicle, I've taken my two trusty drivers, they were in it, they were playing with stuff, they were pulling them, you know, that Move Mobility appreciates too, because they can pick out things that don't necessarily work. Yeah, so that's the approximate price for that. Now that one sits about 8 people.
Thank you.
It's the price of our 2020 Caravan, it was about 85,000.
Okay,
So, and that was a 1-year-old vehicle at the time.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, there is a ask in the presentation for $25,000 from the wellness fund. That would be the most we've ever given anybody, because we used to split it between things, and it is equipment. So I think it does follow the parameters. We had some discussion at the last meeting, but we wanted to have you make a presentation. We could have a motion now, or we could defer it to budget time. What would council like to do?
I'd prefer to wait till budget time.
Anyone else? Councilor Martin?
Are we talking about this year's budget or next year's budget?
This year.
So this is the current budget, we've already allocated 25,000.
Yes.
Next budget, and we'll be talking about our next budget. So I would be willing to make a motion
Okay,
around 25,000.
okay. Second?
Yeah.
Okay, so I will read it. That the council receives the presentation regarding the St. Mary's and area, sorry,
Just to clarify, that would be utilizing the 25,000 that's already in the wellness budget for 2025.
yes.
That's not been spent.
Sorry. What else?
Is there any way we can defer the vote till our meeting in December?
Well, I think I have,
So after the meeting from the mobility bus?
we have it on the floor, if I'm correct. So. So I have first made the motion by Jamie, seconded by Sam. Okay, we will take the vote. All those in favor? Sorry, you didn't finish reading the motion. Okay. Regarding St. Mary's in the area of mobility bus service, for information and further, approves the donation in the amount of 25,000 from the wellness fund to the St. Mary's and area mobility bus service. So it was moved by Councillor Martin, second by Councillor Corby. Any further discussion?
Should it have in there for equipment, like for the purchase of the vehicle?
Yes. I would prefer to have it for equipment.
Yes, it will be earmarked for that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? That's carried. Thank you, and thank you for your service. Councilor Vanessa?
Can I make a motion that staff, along with Sam, look into the possibility of donating 2023, I believe it is, Ford Escape?
Explorer.
Explorer.
Yeah.
No, the cruiser,
The cruiser.
the Explorer that we're buying back.
Yeah, I think that's a further, like, we want staff to look at that.
Yeah, that just,
Yeah.
just to get it out there, the staff looks at it.
Sure.
I'll second that.
Okay, seconded by Councillor Jeff Bell. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you.
Sue, I'd like some more information on that vehicle. It'd be nice to know how many kilometers on it and
We were told,
Oh, were we?
130 or something.
Oh, that's not that bad, no. Okay. Sorry.
Right?
One thing I think, before we go too far, the mobility bus people would certainly need to have a good look at the
Oh,
vehicles.
absolutely.
See
You know what vehicles
see
we're talking about?
Would you say a Ford?
It's one of the.
It's.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'd say that's what I was
Yes.
thinking when you were talking about that, because we've had some conversations of that too with the town of St. Mary's a few months ago.
Right.
One of our counselors had mentioned that, and so since then, it's been brewing in my mind as to how we can make that
If it's
work.
even suitable.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, absolutely, and I've had some, new hires too, that I think even that would be a great fit for us, a whole other vehicle, we have, yeah, that's really exciting. Thank you.
So we're gonna investigate that for you.
Yeah,
Did we do? We did.
I believe
Yeah.
we did.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, thank you very much for coming. Lori, did you want to say anything? All right, we are at item 8.1, Director of Public Works. Ken, floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor Orr. First report here is my update report for council. On item 3 there, line 4, the surface asphalt paving, Brandco Construction is the contractor through the county's contract for that project. With the weather getting late, I'm thinking it's best to defer that work till next spring. Line 4, everything there is fine, you know, from last winter and stuff still. So they had asked whether we would be okay with that, and I don't think I want them to do that work later this year yet, if the weather's not gonna cooperate very well, so the council's okay with pushing that off until next spring. And they said they would get the work done for us then, and I think we'll get a better job to do that. The Seaverville well replacement, still waiting on the contractor to show up there. Hopefully they show up this week once they get done, the projects they're working on and get started on the drilling. I don't have they haven't started yet that time, but soon. Follow up from last meeting, council had asked me to reach out to our neighboring municipalities on the operation of our water systems. Just early this week, I've got some responses back. None of the neighboring municipalities are interested in providing that service to us at this time. Perth East indicated though they might be interested in the future. Particularly with the operation of the proposed wastewater treatment plant in Seaverville, because it's based off of, I think, a very similar one they have in Seaverville. Or in Shakespeare, so there may be some interest in the future for some assistance, but nothing really right now that just want to pass that on. I think we'll bring back a report to the next council meeting on that agreement with off of that. Anyway, that's all I have for my update. Do we have any questions?
Any questions for Ken? Councilor Marco?
Can you share how the meeting went today about the St. Paul proposed drain in St. Paul's? Any information on it?
Yeah, 2 drain meetings today here with Brandon from Sprians and Scott. One was for the flood drain. And there was a bit of a design and stuff for that one, so it's going forward with some of that stuff. The St. Paul's drain project, less interest in that one proceeding, it sounded like. It sounded like there was like one landowner that was looking for some drainage improvements, and they're gonna see if there's instead of a big drain down the side of the road, whether there's a way to connect into some of the county drainage stuff. It sounds like up at the intersection. They're still working on the stuff, but that was a preliminary meeting just to find out what everybody was wanting.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Ken? All right, I have a recommendation of the Director of Public Works update, the report be received for information, moved by Council Corby, second by Deputy Mayor Wilhelm, all those in favor, opposed, carried. And we are Drainage Superintendent report.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. The next report is the Drainage Superintendent's report. If anybody has any questions?
Any questions regarding Scott's report? Okay. Seeing none, I have a recommendation that the Drainage Superintendent update report be received for information, moved by Councillor Vanessa, second by Councillor Jeff Bell, all those in favor, opposed, carried. And we are at, 8.1C, report for the boundary roads within Middlesex County.
And thank you. The last report here is the, a report on the, an agreement that's proposed here with Middlesex County for the maintenance of the Whalen Line. So currently, first up, we look after the maintenance on, section of Whalen Line from Highway 7 to, Perth Road 151. And Middlesex, or sorry, Luke Rudolph, they share a cost in that with us. However, Middlesex County has now uploaded, as of November 1st, the Whalen Line portion from Luke Rudolph. So it's become a county, it's becoming a county road. Maintained, so then we don't have an agreement with Middlesex County, and our agreement with Luke Rudolph was kind of null and void now with them not being responsible for that road. So this is a proposed agreement with us and Middlesex County, for Middlesex County to complete the maintenance on the road. I think that's their preference, so that the road continues to be maintained to a county standard. Comparable with the other roads in the county and the other portions of Whalen Line that was uploaded about 5 years ago. So the plan is that through Perth County's road rationalization project, that Perth County will upload our share of Whalen Line. Just hasn't happened yet. They're still going through that process to finalize that, but that was one of the recommendations in that plan that they had brought here to council. So I see this as an interim agreement, ideally just for this winter. Until the Perth County uploads that, and then they'll have to work on an agreement with Middlesex or figure out how to lead the maintenance. Anyway, recommending that we authorize the clerk to enter into the agreement as attached.
Does it have to have an end date on it or no?
No, I don't think we need any. There is a clause that indicates, I forget what number it was, but there's a clause there for here it is, in years 2.3. If any time the boundary roads are uploaded or downloaded by another municipality, the agreement shall cease and be null and void. So that's section 2.3.
Oh, sorry, I missed that.
Yeah. That's kind of a clause for what if the Perth County.
But that is the plan.
That's the plan, subject to Perth County council approval.
Any questions regarding the agreement? Councillor Jeff Up.
Sorry, maybe I'm wrong. When I was reading this, I thought I saw something for that this runs 10 years unless some things changes. Yeah.
Okay, seeing no further questions, I have a recommendation that the council receives the Middlesex County Agreement and Whalen Line upload report for information and authorizes the clerk to execute the agreement. Moved by Councillor Deputy Mayor Wilhelm, second by Councillor Jeff Bell. All those in favor? Carried, opposed? Carried. Okay, we are at 8.2. Tracy, your report.
Oh, put the council on.
I will, sorry, that Recommendation of the accounts payable listed dated November twelfth, 2025 to the period October 30th to November 12th, 2025 in the amount of $325,495.18 be approved. Move 5, Councillor Markbell, second by Councillor Vanessa. Any discussions on Councillor Markbell?
There's one in here for $1,800.70, to learners. What's that for?
Through you, Mayor, or that is for the Current Street. I believe the title changed, the easement. That was that property that came last week for the zoning.
Thank you.
Councillor Kirby?
Does that get passed on to the landlord?
Through you, Mayor, I wouldn't think so, because we had to put it in our, it was never put in our name, it was in the wrong name, so we had to get it put in the township's name, so that would be on us. To do that title search and that. Councillor Markbell?
Do we always use learners, or why are they involved?
Through you, Mayor, or that's just who Fred hired to do that legal work.
Figured. Gotcha. Thanks.
Okay,
That's cheaper for us.
anything else? Councillor Vanessa?
I forgot to ask Ken a question, so I'll sneak it in here. Vehicle 29, 2012 International, any idea when that new truck's coming to replace it?
I expect it to be probably before winter's over, but not much,
Not before it starts?
not before it starts, already started. Still a few months out, I think, yeah, unfortunately.
Does it sound like they got it 4 or 5 months ago, didn't they? All right,
Yeah, the truck's been sitting at Viking for a little while, trying to wait on the equipment to get, built and installed.
okay, thank you.
Deputy Mayor?
I don't see it here, but I think I saw someplace where, a hydraulic cylinder were, one of the
Number
trucks.
34.
What happened to that? Cause that's what, almost $7,000 if I recall.
That's the hoist, for the box and stuff, it was leaking. So it needed to be, I guess it was pitted and stuff, needed to be replaced.
Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And Casey, your treasurer's update.
To your Mayor, my monthly report is in front of council. Any questions? I'd be happy to answer it.
Any questions for Tracy? Councillor Markbell?
Under the policies and bylaws, there's a diversity, equity, and inclusion policy. I'm wondering how that started or where.
That's a policy that, the debt policy, the reserve policy, diversity is policies all that the upper levels want all municipalities to have. I've had one grant I applied for that I had to attach that diversity policy to. These are just ones that I'm working on. I don't know when they're gonna be coming to council, but they're just ones that I've kind of, I'm working on piecemealing together. It's not anywhere near ready to come to council yet, but it's on my work for so.
So it's mandated by the province to do that?
It's not mandated, but it's the federal government likes to see it if you apply for any grants. Yeah, thanks.
So is the issue then, sorry, through there, is the issue then that we have to hire certain people, we can't hire the best people for the job?
No. That's not what that policy is about at all.
Any other comments on Tracy's whole report? Councillor Jeffo?
The finance, meeting with the minister to discuss time and financial paperwork submittal, how did that go?
Good. They were wondering when the 2024 FIR was gonna get done, which I finished up. I had the auditors in here last week working on 2025 year end, so hopefully I'll have the FIR in by the end of May when it's supposed to be in.
We also discussed those policies, because I knew we didn't have any of those policies in place. Yeah, it went quite well. Went much easier than it did when I worked in Dutton. Any further comments on her report? All right, I have a recommendation that the Council of the Township of Perth South receives the report for the Deputy CAO Treasurer, titled Treasurer October 2025, update dated November 18th, 2025, for information. Moved by Councilor Martin, second by Deputy Mayor Wilhelm. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. We are at the clerk. What was that?
Thank you, Mayor Orr. You have my report, business as usual, starting to actually ramp up for next year's election. There's a lot of training. I've started, just refresher and, also going over some of the, changes from the last election. It's, anyway, it's gonna be a lot. Also had a clerks meeting yesterday, so we're all commiserating about the upcoming election. So they all look at me like I have two heads when I explain that I'm doing it, and nobody else. But anyway, it's all good. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Tomorrow's municipal day, if anybody's signed up. See you in Mitchell tomorrow, so don't forget.
Any questions for Lizette? Not seeing our problem.
What's the consensus on how everyone's gonna vote? Is there a consensus all across the board on how each municipality is gonna vote, or are we going paper, or are we going?
So I have I brought the report about doing vote by mail. Other municipalities have, I think most of the ones in Perth County now have either moved to a full electronic voting system. Or use it, at least use of tabulators. I feel that for our municipality, it's a lot of money to do that. Vote by mail has been, I think, a very effective method. I also have high hopes for the new preparation of the preliminary list of electors, because it's now through Elections Ontario. So that change was made in 2022 to come forward to be fully implemented. There have been some by-elections which have really helped sort of iron out some of the issues that have could potentially happen. So I think we will have a better, a cleaner voters list going forward. I also feel that I don't know, I've just lost my train of thought there.
It happens.
I start bothering. I did have training today with further training, because I hadn't had it for a while, and I'm having our tax clerk, Millie, he's going to be helping me build that data and clean up the data listing for the voters list going forward. So was there a specific?
No, I was just wondering, like, if you were all going electronic, or be staying with mail, or what the consensus was about with the clerks.
So each clerk does what they feel is best for their municipality. I feel that I don't have the capacity to make a change to what we've been doing since 2010. It works well, I think, for us. It gives options for people to come in here and still vote, in person. It's I think for a rural municipality, I don't know, just, we've never had any complaints really against using that system, and our staff is very accommodating to help people out if they can't, if they're looking for options to get their ballots here. So
The reason I asked it
Yeah.
and is because I read an article on the CBC the other day that the electronic, it opens you up to a lot of fraud, and they're not secure enough when you get into the electronic stuff. So
There is
Thanks.
potential for that.
Yeah.
So for the main reason why I just, haven't gone down that path is capacity. I don't
Yeah.
have capacity to implement that kind of system, and I feel that it would be, for the amount of voters we have in our municipality, I just feel it's a lot of money for one day. So,
Councillor Vanessa?
Just a question, so, we've had a few people move into the area since then, especially rental houses. In due course, like 6 months from now, do they contact you to get on the voters list then, or how's that, how does that work?
so the beauty of having the Elections Ontario is that they've already, provided us, so that was part of the refresher today, is that we have a whole, like portal of information that we can start linking. We can start, early in the year and getting that information out there, but, so we have more control. But also the information that is put into the Elections Ontario is gathered from more sources rather than just property ownership.
Oh,
So it's from your health card information, it's from your driver's license. Which is what we have been championing for years, because the province has more access to that kind of information. So that's part of what I feel is going to be a big help for
excellent, thank you.
people like me, so, yeah.
Any other questions for Lizette?
So sorry, and further to what Councillor Bell was asking, so I do have a bylaw earlier, like later on the agenda to actually have council approve the full idea.
Thank you.
All right, recommendation that the clerk's update report be received for information, moved by Councillor Corby, second by Councillor Mark Bell, all those in favor, opposed, carried. We are at the report for council remuneration for October. Any questions regarding anything there? I have a recommendation that the report regarding the council payroll October 2025 dated November 18th, 2025, including total payroll of $8,158.86 be approved. Moved by Councillor Martin, second by Deputy Mayor Wilhelm. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. No correspondence? No, council reports. Who would like to go first? Don't jump at once. Deputy Mayor.
Yes, all is quiet.
Yeah, very well the same. I missed the Business Excellence Awards. At first glance, it went well, from the people that I've spoken to, so. We're having a debrief meeting here soon, and we'll get the we'll go from there, I guess, so to speak, but yeah, other than that, quiet.
Councillor Carter?
All good.
Councillor Vanessa?
We had an opportunity last week to, I was asked by the drainage superintendent and Brandon Winter was ready to go out and have a look at it. The rain, unfortunately, the night before they got 8 inches of snow on some of O'Brien drain. And I'm hoping next week to go out and have a look. There's still some concerns about finishing of that drains. Other than that, that's good. Thank you.
Councillor Vanessa? Councillor Martin? No, report. Okay. I'd just like to say I'm thankful for everybody who showed up for Remembrance Day. I think every year we get a little bit better and make some small improvements, and Dave Ford did a really good job, and Jim's grandson did a poem as well, so that was nice. I'm gonna encourage everybody to go fill out tree bylaw input on the county website. It's important, it's a hot topic, I've heard a lot of calls about it, so everybody's voice needs to be heard, so if you could go on to the county to do that. We had a Perth Fire Department Joint Advisory Committee meeting. There will be a list of things to do from that. There is some things that the province is bringing into play. So Will did attend by Zoom with us, and we're gonna have to follow a few more rules coming up in the next year. there'll be more details on that. And, also attended the Perth East Fire Christmas recognition celebration. I included an appreciation banquet, for everybody there. It does give all their staff, so it was, quite impressed every year. I think they do a really good job for us, so it's nice to be there. And I also attended the Business Excellence Awards, and there was some businesses from Perth South. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but, I was encouraged that they were nominated, so. Okay, that's all I have. We do have municipal day, and, there's a town council meeting as well on Thursday. Okay, I have a recommendation that the report regarding the mayor's monthly activity for the month of October 2025, dated November 18th, 2025, be received for information. Moved by Deputy Mayor Wilhelm, seconded by Councillor Vanessa. All those in favor, opposed, carried. And we are at bylaws. Recommendation of the bylaw 45/2025 being a bylaw to appoint CBOC and Company as the auditor for the corporation of the Township of Perth South, be given first, second, and third readings and be properly signed and sealed.
Sir, can I just speak to this? So I had brought forward a bylaw, authorizing signing an agreement, so I brought forward the wrong bylaw. So this is just correcting my error. It repealed the other one, and I don't know, I get questions as to why we're doing this again, but it's just different wording, so that was my fault, sorry.
Okay. You need me to read it again?
I don't think so, you just need a move and second, right?
Moved by Councillor Vanessa, second by Councillor Jeff Bell. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And we are at bylaw 46/2025, an authorized vote by mail. Recommendation of the bylaw 46/2025 being a bylaw to authorize voting by mail for the 2026 municipal election, be given first, second, and third readings and be properly signed and sealed. Moved by Councillor Martin, second by Councillor Mark Bell. All those in favor? Opposed, if any, carried. And we are at bylaw 47/2025 being a bylaw 47/2025 being a bylaw to authorize and approve the boundary roads maintenance and repair agreement between the corporation of the county of Middlesex and the corporation of the township of Perth South, be given first, second, and third readings and be properly signed and sealed. Moved by Councillor Corby, second by Deputy Mayor Wilhelm. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. So, is that stop?
No, I just have another comment if that's okay, Mayor, or, I also wanted to let council know that, I meant to have a bylaw, appointing the Jacks on as our CAO, and, I didn't get that on this agenda, so it will be on the next agenda, so hopefully he doesn't leave before that meeting.
And I'll have a report for you next month.
Any further announcements? Councillor Jeff Bell?
St. Mary's Parade is this Friday. I will have, the Optimist Club Downey's floating there with the grade 4-5, class from down South and share, so. Look forward to seeing everyone.
Curtain off from the dinners one night for ribbon pail. Third at 7 o'clock.
Okay, any other notices of motion, any other business? No public question period, confirmatory bylaw, recommendation of the bylaw 48/2025 being a bylaw to adopt, confirm, and ratify matters dealt with by resolution of the township of Perth South, be given first, second, and third readings and be properly signed and sealed. Moved by Councillor Corby, second by Councillor Jeff Bell. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And adjournment, recommendation that this meeting does adjourn at 7:39. Moved by Councillor Martin, second by Deputy Mayor Ryan. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you, everybody.